Before we get into the article, just a warning that some of the author's comments toward Japanese people can sometimes be a bit offensive to us in the modern day. And because this is an article in a movie magazine, the quotes in it might be fabricated, and there's probably some exaggeration. But this is why I wanted to do a read-through of it. Japan's film industry in the 1920s is not really that well understood, and there's a good reason for this. Japan's silent film history has fared even worse than America's or that of European countries. Various estimates say that between 75 and 90% of all American silent films are lost. But I recently read a statistic that of all Japanese films before 1930, only about 70 are known to have survived. In the 1920s, Japan made about 7,000 movies. That means we only have about 1% of that film output. The 1923 Kanto earthquake and the widespread destruction from World War II are big reasons for this loss. So information about 1920s Japanese movies is hard to come by, which is why I try to share anything I can find. This article features photos of Japanese actors and actresses, and some movie stills, and I've labeled the names in the photos from the names given in the original captions. A lot of these people's film legacies have been wiped out, but at least their names can live on in this video. But anyway, let's get into it. Are American movies corrupting Japan? Motion Picture Classic, December 1927. My lord, I am prepared to obey thy august will in all things. So once spoke the Japanese daughter to her honorable father, or the Japanese wife to her honorable lord, as she bowed her insignificant and most unworthy self submissively before the heaven-decreed authority of the male. For thousands of years, the women of Japan have obeyed their fathers, and the husbands their fathers chose for them, without question. Then came American motion pictures, in which the virtue of womanly obedience is not conspicuously celebrated. In 15 years, they have taught Japanese women flirtation, flapperism, infidelity, and all the other delightful pastimes of civilization. Alas, lamented a Tokyo businessman to Francis X. Bushman on his recent trip to Nippon, everything has changed. Our ancestors would not recognize our country now, since your honorably immoral motion pictures have corrupted our women. Once our girls were modest, obedient, and self-sacrificing. They wore clothes that covered them. Now my own daughter wears silk stockings and high-heeled shoes, and when I tell her that I have chosen a husband for her, she laughs at me and answers me, her father, that she will not marry a man she does not love. She goes to the theater and learns about this miserable love from your augustly immodest pictures. I forbid her to go, and she disobeys me. Japan is changing now faster than it has changed in 10,000 years. It is becoming Americanized. It is learning American sins. Francis X. Bushman is perhaps the most traveled man in the movies. He has visited 37 countries, with the true traveler's delight in seeking change of custom and ways of living. And he has returned from Japan, lamenting the influence of Hollywood movies upon those whom we quaintly refer to as the heathen. He traveled from the great commercial cities to the remote country towns, from island to island, and everywhere, even in the farthest districts, he saw flaring posters of Hollywood movie favorites clasped in passionate embrace, or engaged in desperate struggle. Pola Negri cast provocative glances from garden walls. Clara Bow kicked flapper heels on quaint tea houses. Sometimes, on closer inspection, Pola proved to have slant eyes, and Clara to have oriental cheekbones, for the native Japanese picture stars are earnestly imitating their American confrères, adopting their costumes and copying their mannerisms. The popularity of slapstick and sex appeal is driving the true Japanese drama from the screen, Bushman says. Their plays and pictures always dealt with the legends of Japan, the tales of the gods or traditional heroes and historical deeds of valor. Dramas of love were unknown, because love as we mean it, courtship, intrigue, passion, were unknown. The parents arranged the marriages. The young people never saw each other before the ceremony, so there was no need of flirtation. Women did not try to attract men by their glances or ways of dressing, and men did not use chic methods to win a girl's heart. We think we are civilized, but a Japanese man considers that our women dress indecently, with the avowed intention of arousing men's interest by their short skirts, silk stockings, bare arms, and crossed legs. And now they are horrified to find their own women adopting American styles. Most of the Japanese picture actresses dress like our stars. They copy Gloria Swanson's most exotic evening gowns and Colleen Moore's sauciest sport clothes. The Japanese actors imitate our Western stars, or slick their hair back into a pompadour and try to look like Valentino. As a consequence, the streets of Tokyo and Yokohama are filled with natives wearing European clothes, which are extremely unbecoming to most of them. The women are beginning to bob their huge coils of hair and use pink and white powder on their faces. And worst crime of all, Mack Sennett comedies have introduced American bathing suits on Japanese beaches. Our motion pictures are making the Japanese self-conscious, Bushman declares. In utter innocence, men and women in Japan have always bathed together, nude, in the public baths or beaches, without a thought of evil. Even after the shocked protests of the missionaries resulted in wooden partitions between the sexes at the larger watering places, the Japanese, naively, built the partitions down to within a few feet of the water, and left an open space so that people could still see and talk to each other. But they are beginning to learn from suggestive scenes in motion pictures that nudity is naughty, and is considered a matter for sly looks and shame. The orgy scenes scattered so freely through our picture plays have taught them their lesson of the knowledge of evil, and they are adopting fig leaves, American fig leaves, which are very unbecoming to the squat Japanese figure. There are more motion pictures made in Japan than in the United States, Bushman discovered. 37 companies are at work all the time, and there are 100 fan magazines. Half of the Japanese movies are made in native costume. Some of these depict the deeds of legendary warriors and are filled with conventional sword fighting and ceremonials. In the rest, the players dress in European clothes, use foreign furniture for the sets, and act in Hollywood style. The plots of the pictures are either the same as ours or imitate them closely, being built around a love story, filled with seductions, infidelity, jealousy, and passionate lovemaking on the Gilbert Garbo order. The name of a recent feature, One Young Man and Five Women, shows distinct DeMille influence. The motifs of our pictures are almost all totally foreign to the Japanese viewpoint, Francis X. Bushman points out. Take the Eternal Triangle, for example. What would we do without it in Hollywood? But we have literally taught Japanese wives to be unfaithful. Such a thing was never dreamed of before in a country where family worship is traditional, and women have always bowed down before men. Our pictures, he continued, have shown them wives deceiving their husbands and falling in love with other men. Now, they tell me, Japanese women are beginning to leave their homes and neglect their children in an effort to find and enjoy the attractive freedom they see on the screen. They have discovered that almond eyes, which have always been respectfully lowered, can flash as coyly as any other eyes. We send missionaries to Japan to teach them our civilization, and then we send movies to show them that civilization in action. The Japanese are a clean, happy, and courteous people who never quarrel among themselves or indulge in vulgar fistfights. They are kind to children and animals. In American pictures, they see children abused, men fighting like brutes, vamps deliberately luring men, wives carrying on clandestine flirtations, and young people petting and necking. In Japan, people do not touch each other. They do not shake hands or embrace, and kissing is absolutely taboo. Or it was until we showed them how to do it in close-up clinches of high-priced screen lovers. Dancing between the sexes was unheard of in Japan until our motion pictures introduced the Charleston and Foxtrot. Now there are dance halls in all the large cities, where Japanese boys and girls wiggle and clutch each other almost as tightly as the extras in cafe scenes in Hollywood movies. In a Japanese picture show, the interpreter is an important official. He sits on one side of the screen and explains the action of the picture to the audience. Once, he spoke of brave deeds done long ago, of heroes, of duels for honor, and acts of piety toward one's ancestors. Now, sitting cross-legged on his mat of rice straw, he chants of vamps and villains, of sheiks who abduct beautiful damsels, of ruined maidens, of husbands and wives and the other woman or the other man. The stars of Japanese picture companies flock to see the new American movies and study the acting of their favorite American stars. Shizue Natsukawa is the Nipponese Norma Talmadge and has lately played in a Japanese version of Camille. The Lillian Gish of the Flowery Kingdom was for many years Sae Kamujama, the sister of Sojin. The greatest matinee idol of the Japanese public is Demme Suzuki, who, with his dark almond-shaped eyes and wavy pompadour, is handsome enough to compete with any American movie hero. Monty Blue is Suzuki's model, and he often wears sombrero and rides a horse in outdoor pictures. Charlie Chaplin has an exact duplicate, derby, shoes, cane, tramp pants, and all. Yet, Americanized as the Japanese screen is becoming, there are still fans in Japan who do not wholly approve of American movies. Esther Ralston received a letter from one of them the other day. "Please tell me, are you good girl or bad girl?" the letter began severely. "Do you like to make immodest scenes which you have in your pictures? Can you make love scene like I see in American picture and still remain good girl?"